Welcome to Roll Call. I'm Mike Bonenfant.
Mike, I'm still Steve Crowninshield. How are you?
You know, I'm okay, Steve. Are you sure you're still Steve?
Listen, as you get older, I get up in the morning, I check my license, and if the picture matches in the mirror, I'm all set.
All is good?
My license said on me, I'm good for another day.
I just look in the mirror. And if that's me in the mirror on the other side, I'm good for another day.
Sometimes I'm not sure.
Well, it's a couple mornings it's a little foggy, but hey, all is good. Steve, what's happening? What's new?
The city is just, it's good crazy, not bad crazy, but crazy as usual. The weather's, well, we're the day after opening day we're taping this after the Red Sox won, so it's been kind of rainy and drizzly, but it's coming. And the spring, summer construction has started, and it's going to be another year of stuff all over the place.
Yeah, they were nice enough to start right in the center of town this time. They did redoing the sidewalks or the curb where they come out to the roadway on the green. So yeah, that's the first sign of spring when they put up
funny, the
orange
city,
cones.
I guess the city was lax with their, was it ADA, that the American Disabilities
ADA
Act?
compliance,
yes.
yeah.
And you don't realize how much that means until you've actually pushed somebody in a wheelchair. Oh my God. So I'm glad the city's coming up to stuff with that because, you know, years ago my wife was temporarily in a wheelchair and a broken leg, and my gosh, you don't realize how handy that stuff is, and that some poor person that's, you know, that's their life all the time. It's huge. So I'm glad the city is, there were like 100 corners, intersections.
Oh,
there was a ton
it's
of them,
pretty
right?
much like every place is a sidewalk that comes down to like a cross street.
Right.
That there has to be a ramp and
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
There is, but
and that ramp has to be a certain pitch, and everything has to be. When those guys do it, it's quite an operation to watch.
And you know what? If you're gonna do it once, do it right. It's concrete. It'll last as long as me and you.
No, that's just that.
And it's done. And yeah, so I'm actually glad. But other stuff is going on. It's just tons of building. It's going to start. We got another big year. Again, the city of Taunton is an old city, and a lot of the infrastructure is falling apart basically. So, you know, they're trying. They're relining the pipes. They're putting new water pipes in.
Yeah, because those projects are getting started too. The phase, whatever, 12.
I think it's 12 now.
So I think there's 15 phases up at this point.
Is it?
I think so. But so yeah, only 3 or 4 more to go. We're almost there.
Well, again, you know what? You can't. Everybody loves to build stuff. Nobody likes to maintain it. We as Americans in general, we're great builders. We'll build anything anywhere. But maintain it is a whole different story. So some of the sewer system that goes through the middle of the city was put in 1880, 1890, and never touched or maintained since. And it's a duct. It's a brick duct, and it's oval, egg-shaped rather. So it's a little harder to maintain, but still, it's never been fixed. So we got to use that. I know we're very proud because we have the oldest working fire station in the city. I think it's silly, but you can't have everything that's been 150 years old as a frontline anything.
No. They don't make anything, nothing, and I don't blame the contractors, but it doesn't seem materials are built to last like they used to. Like when they used to build those things out of brick.
Well, it's lasted 150 years, I'll give you that.
Yeah, so when they replace it, and now they're putting in the ground, it's plastic, it's this, you gotta hope that stuff's gonna last forever, but
well, I will say this,
only time will tell.
The big one, they did that relining thing.
Yeah.
They put that fiberglass sleeve in it, so yeah. But yeah, we're great builders, but lousy maintainers, and now it's coming back to, you know, the poor City Hall's getting clubbed with a lot of things that are old and got to be updated that haven't been tuned up in a while.
Yeah, including City Hall.
City Hall and the police. Hey, let's not forget the police station.
Oh, let's not.
Let's not, because again, we're in a temporary station that
40 years.
Plus 40.
Plus 40.
Just a little trivia note. A little trivia.
Wow.
Okay. Lyndon Johnson's urban renewal is when the last and only permanent police station the city of Taunton ever owned was torn down.
That's a couple years ago.
I believe
There's people on going, who, Lyndon what?
Look it up in the dictionary. He was president when poor Kennedy got shot. He took over. He had a program called urban renewal, and like with the old mall, all that area there, that was all torn down and all new stuff come in, and that's when our police station was torn down. I think it was torn down right around the mid-'70s.
Okay.
But it could be, but let's just say 75 for a number. And we've had a temporary since. And we've only had one.
So that's 42 years.
Is it 42?
Yeah.
We've only had one permanent police station in the city from the time the city was started.
And that was on Court Street.
That's the one. It was built in 1900, torn down in, say, 72, 75.
Yeah.
But we're out of there. So we've had temporary. They've built a bazillion schools.
We've been in this one since, what, 2000?
This is the next temporary. Well, then we're only going to be there 7 years. They promised us. So when they put the addition on the back, they only built it for a 7-year stint. Then when it started falling apart, they said, oh, it was what, 17 years ago.
We have to fix that.
So now they're going to fix it because it wasn't designed for that. The hinges weren't sticking. Remember that? The hinges, you couldn't open and close the doors and stuff.
Oh yeah, all kinds of issues. Yep.
Yeah, so they've built a bazillion schools. Just think about this. If we did practice medicine how we did back, even in the 70s, as good as it was then compared to now. Or we go back to when that Central Fire Station was, let's go back to that. We've got bloodletting, and if you got a finger ache, they cut your hand off. Yeah, let's go back to do medicine like they did back then.
Yeah, no.
Some things need an upgrade.
Yeah.
I'm all for preserving the
do.
past.
We do.
We need a police station.
I'm not holding my breath though. Not
You know what,
in the
Mike?
city.
Me either.
No, certainly not.
I thought for sure when I get hired that I'd retire from a new police station.
Oh, see, no.
I don't know if the guys that wrote these reports are going to retire from a new police station.
Probably not some.
I'd like to live to hope I don't live that long, but I mean, yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are a lot of new guys on these reports. A lot of newer guys.
I'm sorry, was that ranting?
We have a lot of new guys. Well, you were a little bit. Yeah, a lot of newer guys. But yeah, some of these guys will still retire from a temporary station.
Yes.
All right, should I get started then?
Go ahead, because that way I just led right into it.
Okay, there we go. Good segue, Steve. All right, this first report is from Josh DiOlivera. Happened on April 2nd. He was monitoring traffic, I want to say on Ware Street. Yes, he was on Ware Street, across from a bar that was a big crowd was letting out. He was kind of watching the crowd as well, when he observed a blue Chevy Avalanche come off Merchants Lane, making a right onto Ware Street, and as it did, it accelerated at a very high rate of speed. At this point, the officer activated his emergency lights and pulled onto the Ware Street to catch up to the vehicle. He caught up to it on the green, where it pulled over to the side of the green and parked over there, or stopped for the officer. He approached the operator, who was identified as Hermegildo Texera Furtado.
What was that name?
That Texera Furtado. Yes, that's the longest first name I've ever. This poor man's parents were cruel. That's a long first name. But anyway, he was kind of unsure of the instructions the officer was giving him. He had a tough time with his understanding English, but he did explain that the car was not his, it belonged to his brother. When they ran the plate to check that, it did come back to his brother, Alexander, out of Fall River, but the registration was expired. Unfortunately for Mr. Texera Furtado, his license was also suspended, not having a good night. At this point, Officer Holmes was with Josh DiOlivera on scene. They informed Mr. Texera that he was being placed under arrest for operating a motor vehicle with a suspended license, and he was sent a citation for such after. Because actually what happened was when the officer got back to the station, they completed the booking process, but he wasn't able to give the man a citation because he got called out to another emergency call, so he actually mailed it to him at a later date. So, and that does happen, and the citation's still good, folks. If you get it in hand or you get it in the mail.
Right, as long as there's an
all
articulable
counts
reason
the
why
same.
you can't, or if your investigation is not done.
Correct. What Steve said.
Wow, I like that articulable.
Yeah, he wrote that down.
This next report is from one of our new guys, Corey Gomes. This it dates myself, but I remember when Corey was born.
Wow, were you there?
Close. His father used to live in East Taunton. I used to work in East Taunton. I knew his dad. Yeah, it's close. I wanted to be to a birth, but yeah. So at 1 a.m. in the morning, they received a call about an erratic operator on Somerset Ave. So they dispatched Corey. The car was being followed by a third party. So they kept the third party kept calling with locations that the erratic operator was hitting cars, almost hit a car, bounced off a couple curbs. So when Corey called up to it, caught up to the cars, he pulled over. The person on the phone pulled over because we as the police have to make the observations. It just makes it easier because it could be an elderly person just on the radio, it could be nothing. So after there was a traffic light, they went to the traffic light. He followed. Now he observes the car go across the double solid yellow line. So at this point, he puts on his blue lights, pull the person over. He was on Highland Street by Laurel Street. As he walks up to the vehicle, he noticed the driver's side door had vomit all over the side of the car. Right there's a clue. It may not be
Not the clue you were looking
not
for.
the clue you're looking for, yeah. Okay. He walks up to the operator, who was identified as a Jessica O'Connell. and he noticed that she was glassy-eyed and bloodshot eyes, and he could smell a strong odor of alcoholic beverage emitting from the driver's side window. She handed him his registration, and he forgot about her license. He asked for his license registration. She gave him the registration. Then she forgot about the license. So he reminded her again. She couldn't find it. When asked if she'd been drinking, she had, guess how many she had? Only one. Not two, just one. So that was good. At this point, he noticed her speech was very slurred. So he called, and an officer from Rainham came down. They did the test. They did his field sobriety test. And one of the tests was this thing called the HGZ. It's a horizontal gaze nystagmus. And what that is, it's pretty cool to see. You have to go to a class. I've never been. I've seen it done. And they take the pen, and they go like this, and your eyes, the way your eyes follow it, if you don't have any alcohol, your eyes follow it pretty smooth. If you had it, your eyes do this, and you can't stop it. And then what they'll do, they take it and they put it over here, and you have to look at it. And as you're looking at it, your eye will twitch. Mm-hmm. And I guess, again, I haven't been in the class, know all the particulars about it, but it works very well. But it's not accepted in Bristol County.
Not accepted in all courts, unfortunately.
I don't know quite all the reasons why.
Well,
so they did that, plus other tests. She didn't do very well. So they bring her back to the station, and she was arrested for operating under the influence. She was brought back to the station. At that point, she became very angry and obnoxious, swearing at the officers. So she was handcuffed. She wouldn't get out of the car. When she got into the police station, they had to help her out of the car. So they brought her back, gave her all her rights under the OUI rules, what the rights she gets. They told her, they gave her option under the breath test. She did take that, and her level was .17, which .08 is under the influence. So she was a tad over twice the legal limit. So she was charged with operating under the influence and negligible operation of a motor vehicle, Hyundai 24.
Guess that one drink she had must have been one big
Big drink. She was 24 years old and from the big city.
Okay. All right. This next report is from Tom Larkin. He was parked on the Cohannet Street monitoring traffic. Car went by him, had a defective driver's side rear tail light. So he pulled the car over, just in a normal stop. Made contact with the operator. They stopped them on Cohannet Street up by Red Circle. The operator was identified as Marco Souza. He asked him for his driver's license and registration. Mr. Souza stated that he did not have his driver's license on him. Well, and there's a good reason for that. Seems that the Mr. Souza's driver's license was also suspended and / revoked. But he said he did not realize his license was suspended, which is kind of a surprise because they usually send you a whole lot of notifications to let you know that your license is going to be suspended.
They try not to do that if they are all possible.
Yeah. So, and even in this case, Mr. Souza was not taken into custody, but he wasn't allowed to drive off. The car was towed, and he was given a ride elsewhere, but he was given a citation charging him with defective equipment and operating a motor vehicle with a suspended or revoked license.
This next report is another report. It's a report from another report. Report from Casey Holmes, another guy I knew as an infant.
Were you at that birth too?
You know, I think from now on, Mike, I'm not going to look at the names. It's kind of depressing me, to be honest with you. Yeah. But anyways.
Do you have a different job some years ago?
Well, all the kids, he hung out with my kids, so it's just kind of it's that point where it's, I'm just going to shut up and read it, because it's making me even sadder.
Oh. I'll help you off that chair.
Thank you. They get a report at 1 o'clock in the morning about a fight on a party bus, which makes, you're supposed to be all friends. You're on a party bus. You charter it together, lease it, rent it, whatever. Right? Y'all know each other.
I would think it'd be a
but
happy time.
The driver pulled over at 400 Ruther Street, and he refused to drive anymore because such a commotion going on in his party bus that he didn't feel safe. So they sent the troops up there because you got like 20, and I'm just betting. I don't know for sure, but there was alcohol involved. So they sent several officers up there: Tommy Larkin, Joe Ryan, Sarah Reynolds, Larry McCauley, Jack Westcoat, Josh DeOliveira, and Bucky Travis. So when they get there, Casey gets there, they boarded the bus, and they witnessed a loud argument taking place by approximately 20 individuals. The officers were informed that there was almost a fight between two male parties on the bus. The officers observed a male, later identified as Swalmor Godeski, Slawomir Godeski, Grodecki, best I can do. He was being restrained by two other male friends. So they told him to calm down, remain calm. We're going to find out what's going on. So they asked him to stay still. He did for a minute. After they let him go, he kind of gets his bearings back. He decides, with about 6 or 8 policemen there, that at this point he's going to go back to the bus and finish the fight he had with the other guy. And he grabs a couple policemen and pushes them to the side, which is really not a good idea. At that point, he was quickly restrained and escorted off the bus, where he was handcuffed and charged with disorderly conduct. Now, he's from Brockton. There's only one Taunton guy involved with this. Just a witness. He was involved. He was Taunton. Okay, I wasn't there, but I'm willing to bet alcohol was involved. And B, I'm also willing to bet that if he sat in the front of the bus and was quiet, he probably wouldn't be going to court the next day. Yeah, you're not going to go to prison over it, but it's going to cost you, and it's going to give you a permanent record. A criminal record. It's not like in the school permanent record. It's going to go on your permanent record.
It's the party bus.
Okay, but isn't that supposed to be like not the angry party bus?
Well, see, you're supposed to bring all your friends with the party bus, not just,
In case there'll be
people you want to argue.
So we can run it, just be me and you.
That'd be it, Steve. Try not to get arrested.
Don't drink.
Okay? All right, this report is from Clint Metis. Happened on March 26th, bright and early in the morning, 1:39. They were dispatched to the area Ware and Summer Street for a reported fight in progress. This one was not on the party bus. Several other officers were also responding. Tommy Larkin arrived first on scene, as well as Patrol Supervisor Sergeant Robert Travis, one of our new sergeants. Officer Larkin, once he arrived, advised the 2 male parties who were now in the parking lot of the Gecko gas station. They appeared to be still arguing and were chest to chest with each other. Now the troops show up. They were separated. They were both identified. One was identified as a Zachary Cooper. Mr. Cooper was highly intoxicated and unable to control himself at this time. He was warned that he needed to calm down. Finally, they made a decision that, it's probably best they just put him in protective custody, which you're not arrested, but you've been drinking, you're not really kind of in control of yourself.
Right.
For your safety and the safety of others, they'll put you in protective custody. You have to stay somewhere for at least 4 hours.
Minimum,
a minimum of 4 hours. But, they can get you home, they can bring you to the station, you can do it there. But so they're just going to, but no charges. You get up tomorrow morning and
No record.
all is good.
No permanent record.
No record. So they tell him he's going to be placed in protective custody. At this point, he wants no part of that. He rips his arm away from the officer. He then makes a fist with his right arm and starts to bring it up in a motion like he's going to fight. Probably not a good idea. At this point, Officer Kevin Viveris and Officer Larkin take him to the ground. He now puts his hands underneath him. He's on his stomach and tries to get his hands, so they're not going to be able to handcuff him. That never works. You're only going to last so long like that,
You just
folks.
get handcuffed tired.
Yeah, that's all. So finally, they just get him handcuffed. Now, of course, he's not in protective custody anymore. He gets brought to a cruiser. He is where he continues to be non-compliant and combative. He is charged now with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. Unfortunately, even at the station, they had to wait to do his booking until he became a little less combative and a little more cooperative. So, and then, you can't really get bailed and you can't get released until you get booked.
Yeah, nothing starts.
Yeah, alcohol just not good for people. It just isn't.
Listen, Mike, we got the 2-minute warning, which is, I think, a good sign, but real quick.
You sure it was 2 minutes?
2 minutes,
Yeah,
real quick. There's two scams out there. Please, I know Facebook is, especially for younger people, I don't have a Facebook account, I want one, but if you're going to go on vacation, post your pictures after. Because the new scam is if you're going out of, way out of, they're finding you on Facebook and they're calling up your parents, your friends, and saying, hey, you were kidnapped. Susie's kidnapped. We know she's in Vegas. We grabbed her out of the strip. Oh my God, how do you know? It's on Facebook. Put it after. It's just a scam. And the other thing with that phone scam is don't answer the phone because you're saying yes and they're taking that and they're just recording
as soon as you hear, if you pick up the phone, and usually there's like a little delay before that computer kicks in. Once you hear that computerized voice, say nothing. Just good night, goodbye. That's it.
Especially now with caller ID, if you don't recognize the number, don't take it.
Don't answer it. They'll leave a message if it's that important.
And that's Facebook. Please use common sense because this is the newest and greatest. And it's just because they go on Facebook and it's not hard. I don't know how to do it, but everybody tells me it's not hard. So
we know you're excited to go on vacation and to leave your home, but you can put it next week when you get back and say, yeah, last week I went on vacation.
That's where I was. And then now
you don't have to worry about anybody going to break in your home or calling your parents when you're taking off on the flight and saying you're kidnapped and putting them through needless worry.
Correct.
So, but the parent in that case, by the way, very smart move, didn't hesitate to call the police. Police investigated like it was a possible kidnapping, and they tried to make contact with the girl, and they finally did, of course, when she got into Vegas and off the flight. Then they were able to verify that she was okay and fine, and yeah, no money was exchanged there. So, but
Don't give them the
doesn't work
opportunity.
out that way for everybody.
No, no.
So,
I am exactly tired.
exactly. All right, that's it then, folks. If Steve's tired, we can't go on. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.